Well, it's time for Community Corner, where we're going to highlight those stories that teach, inspire, and help us learn a little bit more about our neighbors here in Metro Atlanta. I'm Ron Jones. February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, so that's part of the reason why the DeKalb County DA's office is hosting a love run to give back to those survivors. 11 Alive's Molly Oaks sat down with the DA to learn how this race makes a huge difference for families in the county.
When you step through the square, you'll see the signs of love. But what's often not seen?
You don't have to look very far to find instances of domestic violence.
It's something DeKalb County District Attorney Sherry Boston has a heart for.
My grandmother was a victim of domestic violence.
It's why she's hosting the 9th annual Love Run 5K.
Let's go, Love Run!
So runners, take your mark to make your mark.
Every dollar that you spend to register for our race is going to support women and families that are in need, whether it's for services, whether it's in our emergency shelters, whether it's providing temporary housing for families that are trying to flee abusive relationships.
Over $20,000.
The run benefits the Women's Resource Center to end domestic violence, helping women and their children move forward.
It's not about what you're running from, but what you're going to.
It's a message the executive director of the center delivered to Namoda.
He will literally tell me he's going to kill me.
When she was taking steps toward safety.
This place, it's one of the best places I've ever been in my life, and whatever I get today or even tomorrow, I'm willing to give back because they contributed so much to everybody's life. If you walk into their door, they're ready to give it all. They are.
Namoda is now a business owner, a chef, and a survivor.
They just willingly want to help you. They want to see your progress.
Progress that comes right from this race. When DA Boston's running, she'll be thinking of her grandmother.
I always do.
Because every stride helps another survivor take steps forward.
It really does.
Hundreds of people fill the Gold Dome with purple as advocates talk to lawmakers about Alzheimer's disease. Our Christy Diaz has more on what they hope to achieve.
8 days before crossover day, a wave of people in purple will show up here to push Georgia's lawmakers to pass more protections for people living with Alzheimer's and other dementias. For Dan Gerke, it will be his 12th year visiting the Capitol in honor of his wife Denise, who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at just 56 years old and died from it in 2021.
Would be telling me, you better be fighting. and so that resonates with me every time I do this.
Advocates like Dan with the Alzheimer's Association Georgia chapter will be asking lawmakers for $450,000 in the public health budget for a brain health awareness campaign, with hopes that educating people could lead to earlier diagnosis and earlier care.
Hey, this isn't a normal part of aging. Okay, it's a disease that no one deserves, and it is a disease.
Between 2020 and 2025, every state in the country will experience a surge of people living with Alzheimer's disease. Georgia's population expected to increase more than 26% to 190,000 people with the disease by 2025. At the Capitol, the group will also push for House Bill 1123, which would protect vulnerable Georgians, like those living with dementia, from exploitation, neglect, and abuse.
When you see hundreds of people wearing purple shirts, and you start telling your personal story of your loss from because of the disease, legislators really listen.
A day of meetings filled with heart and hope. In Atlanta, Christy Diaz, 11 Alive News.
Right now, crews are working full steam ahead on a new children's hospital. This is going to help meet the need of our fast-growing region. February is Heart Month, the perfect time to get a first look inside the new Heart Center. Here's 11 Alive's Cheryl Prehigh.
It's already a long way from projections and plans.
every day closer to welcoming families.
I've seen drawings for years and years and years.
Finally becoming a reality. This is Dr. William Malley's first look inside.
This is really amazing.
Impressive in the things you can't miss, like its towering 19 stories, 1.5 million square feet, and the big, beautiful outdoor spaces.
Trying to bring nature into the hospital.
But also in the subtleties and details inside.
Nature is healing. We want to give kids hope.
We head upstairs to level 4, where Dr. Malley will spend his days.
Wow, the monitors are like up and running?
He's the co-director of a heart center that cares for about 50,000 children each year, in and outpatient combined.
It's ready for us to do our thing.
These new patient rooms are bright, spacious, and can be used for surgery in an emergency.
And so they can have privacy when they need privacy.
In the main operating room just down the hall, soon all the boxes will be unpacked and the latest technology online.
You're not going to find a better physical facility either in the United States or internationally.
The Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Arthur M. Blank Hospital is anticipating the growth happening in our city and region.
More people are moving to the South, and then babies are being born in the South and a higher pediatric population. At the same time, the complexity of care we give is higher. Together requires us to have a lot more facility, a lot more patient beds to be able to achieve that mission.
Clayton State University Dental Clinic is working to make sure children from all backgrounds receive dental care. A program that has been around for 50 years is offering free dental care for kids right now. The program leaders say the cost and lack of access keeps a lot of people from getting the care they need. Musa Sheikh grew up without access to dental care and says he's grateful he can help his sisters.
First, it saves a lot of money, and two, it protects their health, which is the most important thing in life.
Absolutely, and you can find more about the clinic it's serving right now and the free clinics this week on 11alive.com. Just search dental in your browser. A group of advocates are fighting for more funding to address child care here in Georgia. So it comes as federal funds are drying up for critical programs right now. But the Georgia Child Care Association says it's really optimistic the governor and the state lawmakers can come up with some sort of solution. 11 Alive's Joe Ripley has their story.
Ellen Reynolds.
While we may not have lost any child care centers, we're losing classrooms across the state because we can't find teachers.
On the problem plaguing child care services in Georgia, Reynolds advocates for the Georgia Child Care Association and the 330,000 kids who need those services.
We get our funding from tuition, from the lottery-funded Georgia Pre-K program for those centers that have Georgia Pre-K classrooms, and we get it from Georgia Child and Parent Services.
But some of that funding is running dry. Pandemic-era federal funds are running out.
In 1 year, I lost $19,000 operating a pre-K classroom.
Sharon Foster owns 3 child care centers. She relies on state funding for basics like food, rent, insurance, and maintenance. She also needs more teachers at Bells Ferry Learning Center.
It's just that we're having a harder time finding them. It's costing us more money to recruit and find good applicants, and we're having to do a lot more training than we used to.
Governor Brian Kemp proposed $50 million for next year to go toward funding Georgia child care. Meantime, a state committee recommended $60 million. Reynolds says the funding is crucial because parents are seeing child care costs increase.
It's really hard to charge parents a lot more than what they're being charged now. But if we don't have some assistance from the state, then we have to close down the classrooms.
And she says the funding's critical to keeping child care services and solutions available. In Marietta, Joe Ripley, 11 Alive News.
We're learning new details about the City of Atlanta's plan to develop 19 acres around the historic Atlanta Civic Center in Old Fourth Ward. Atlanta Housing updated the community on the progress for Phase 1, which is about 4 acres along Piedmont Avenue, where the Civic Center sits empty for about 10 years. 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn has the details.
Back in the early 1900s, this area was home to nearly 16,000 people, known as Buttermilk Bottom. However, in the 60s, it was basically destroyed through urban renewal and replaced with the Atlanta Civic Center in 1967. At the time, several promises were made.
That the city would deliver new affordable housing to the community, and that's what we're going to do.
Renderings show the first phase, 148 senior one-bedroom apartments, which include a roof deck and cafe on the first floor, with hopes to start construction in the winter.
We will be putting shovels in the ground by the end of the year.
A second promise included education.
That a new school will be built on the site.
They're working with Atlanta Public Schools to build a school for performing arts, plus a major overhaul on the Performing Arts Center.
Making into something that is a 21st century multi-use theater.
Some of the uses include
live performances, and really becomes a new destination for arts and culture in the city of Atlanta. It would allow us to host everything from the opera to the ballet.
Walkability is also key. The site will include a plaza, similar to the one in this rendering, along with a greenway.
We're looking to connect between Ralph McGill and into Renaissance Park.
The idea, a new cultural center for the city, as this rendering showcases.
Really how this becomes a heartbeat for the community.
As far as when this phase 1 of the project could be finished, the developers are hoping before the city hosts a number of World Cup games in 2026.